I have decided to keep this journal as a record of my time as an up and coming YouTuber. Jesus. Did I just call myself a YouTuber? Is this a suicide note? No. Anyway, after seeing First Reformed, some thoughts have come to my mind. Life is a mystery. Everyone must stand alone. I hear you call my name, and it feels like home. Boom, 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 boom. Welcome to room 666. I'm not going to pay for that. I'm not going to pay for it. You put it. Today we'll be reviewing Paul Schrader's First Reformed, starring Ethan Hawke, Amanda Seyfried, and Codename the Cleaner. I mean Cedric the Entertainer. Come with me, my sons. Let us speak of First Reformed. The film is about a pastor of a small church whose life starts to spiral out of control after he meets an unstable environmental activist and his pregnant wife. That's First Reformed. Paul Schrader, writer and director. You may have heard that name before because he wrote Taxi Driver. He also wrote The Last Temptation of Christ. Ooh, that's kind of strange because this is First Reformed and it feels like it's a combination of both those films all together. In terms of the themes, you have Ethan Hawke's character, who is just a quiet, lonely man. Same thing as Taxi Driver. He also writes in a journal. Same thing as Taxi Driver. So we get that voiceover. So it's the same way in that there's a lot of themes in it, but it's also in kind of the same format. Also, where there's even a scene in First Reformed where Ethan Hawke's kind of driving around. It has that Taxi Driver feel. He's just kind of looking out and looking at all the scum out there that the rain needs to come and wash away. Now, Ethan Hawke never says that, but in a lot of ways he does. And I don't mind that. It's like a spiritual sequel to Taxi Driver. So that's great. If that doesn't get you to see it, well, let me tell you some more shit about it, all right? Well, what Schrader does here is he finds these themes of religion, but it's in here it's not, does God exist? Do I believe in God? Because Ethan Hawke's character never struggles with that. He believes in God. He knows he exists. What he doesn't believe in is the human race, is humans as a whole. He doesn't think that God is going to accept what we've done to Mother Earth. You know, Mother Earth is Jodie Foster. The humans are the pimps. Ethan Hawke wants to go into that brothel and he wants to blast us all in the heads in his own way. And he kind of does that in his own way. I'm not going to give away any spoilers, but the one thing that I did enjoy about this film was the first two acts, right? It's a slow burn of a character study. It really focuses on, the backstory and the psyche of Ethan Hawke's pastor character. And the way that it's filmed, it's just, the camera never moves. The camera never moves. It's just still. They're like these the kind of beautiful pictures that are just like in this old abandoned church. It's just very kind of beaten down in ways. There's little grays and it's dark at moments because Ethan Hawke's character is isolated. So it really gives that sense of that he doesn't surround himself really with anything but misery and despair. But when it does have those colors, you have these kind of beautiful, like, just kind of landscape shots where there's just all these different, like, purples and blues that are just that really kind of makes it pop. And it also gives it sort of this sinister but beautiful kind of look at these certain scenes that it needs to have that feel for, where he's kind of looking out at Earth, but, it's kind of destroyed. It's beautiful, but it's kind of destroyed, and it's kind of ugly, and that's really what the cinematography of this film feels like, and I really enjoyed that aspect. I don't want to spoil anything, like I said, but the one thing, it didn't really add up to me all at the end. It kind of ramps up a little bit, because, like I said, you're going with this slow burn character study about this, pastor who just, he doesn't, he's not sure about what's going on with the human race. He meets, Amanda Seyfried's character who's pregnant, and her brother is just like an environmentalist. He's like an activist, and he kind of sees all those things that he wasn't really aware of before, like all the pollution and things. And so it gets him kind of thinking like, oh man, like what is this? Who is going to do something about this? And then at the end, when he is going to kind of do something about it, you're just like, oh man, this is going to get a bit crazy, but I don't think it gets crazy enough. It does kind of slow down for me, but that doesn't make it a bad film. I think Schrader does a fantastic job behind the camera and writing this film, so yeah, good job, Schrader. Taxi Driver 2, baby. Electric Godaloo. Whoa, almost got swooped in by the Hawke. That's right, Ethan Hawke is coming in hot right here. Boy had a chance to spread his wings. Now, Ethan Hawke is one of the best actors to ever walk the planet, especially an American actor. He's really just that. He really embodies what an American actor is. He's not ever going to kind of do these kind of Daniel Plainview type roles, these like big Daniel Day-Lewis kind of things, but he just play like a dad or something and really just kind of blow your socks off. Here, he plays a pastor who used to be in the military. He's a military man, another kind of same thing as Taxi Driver. And basically that was like his thing. His dad was in the military, his grandfather was in the military, and he basically, and this isn't spoiling anything to tell you this, something that you kind of know right off the bat, he basically tells his son, you know, you need to join the military, even though his son didn't kind of really want to, or I believe his wife kind of was against it, but he was just like, that's what you do. His son goes out there and he dies. So he really feels like, you know, and his wife leaves him because of that. So he really feels like he's responsible for that death. He really feels like he should be punished. And that's kind of how he lives his life. And you see that on Ethan Hawke's face. He's so great at delivering all the lines. And that's what what's another great thing about this film is that, as I said before, it's a slow burn and the camera stays still a lot, but you never really notice that because it's dialogue heavy. And it's done so well, the back and forth between the characters. And the dialogue is so interesting, and you're just kind of engaged the whole time, and especially because of the acting. Ethan Hawke never overacts here when there's sort of times that he could. He never gets loud or big when it kind of could be that. He always kind of keeps this sort of really just grounded, kind of like kept up, this pent in, just like person who just... They don't really want to express themselves because if they do, people aren't really going to like what they have to say. And so he always kind of plays the pastor who's talking to the people he meets, like Amanda Seyfried and Cedric the Entertainer, who plays another kind of pastor of a mega church. He's always kind of got to be this person to all these people, but he's not really that. He's just a guy who goes and sips on whiskey and just sits in a chair alone in an empty house, basically. And that's basically what his character is just an empty house that needs to be filled. And you get that throughout everything. You don't need any sort... I mean, you get the dialogue of how his backstory and the things that make him who he is, but you really wouldn't need that. You could really get that from the way Ethan Hawke plays it and just little scenes of him going about his daily life. And if Ethan Hawke doesn't get some award consideration for this, it's pure madness because he's a national treasure and he's heaven sent. And this proves it right here. I mean, everything he does proves it, but First Reformed, you know, and he really is carrying this film on his back, and it's a cross he bears the whole way through. I'm going to try to do as many religious puns as I can. He is just an apostle. This was all Ethan Hawke's movie, but everyone who was around him did a good job. But he's a Jesus baby. Ethan, we love you. In conclusion, I enjoyed this film. It didn't stick the landing for me in terms of the third act, but I liked the character study and everything that Ethan Hawke does, especially the direction from Paul Schrader. It's not something that I could recommend to everybody. It's definitely a certain type of film if you want to sit back and kind of watch a slow burn kind of character study and just kind of see Ethan Hawke just kill it. Just kill it and bring it. I mean, he's in a bunch of, like, literally, he's in like 12 movies on Netflix you can watch right now where he just plays a dad. And I'm sure you probably watched them. So you could watch this one. Hopefully it'll come out on Netflix. Hopefully, you know, once it does, I would recommend to rent it though. You need to rent this. Check out everything that A24 does. Go check out A24 if you've never heard of them. Just pick a film. Just go like that, the A24 list, and pick a film and you'll find something interesting and good. It may not be the best film, but it will be interesting and you will remember it and you will talk about it. This is one of those films. But like I said, I can't really say to go rush out and see this in the theaters. It's not really one of those films, but I enjoyed it. I mean, you got Hawke, you got Schrader, and you got the big man himself up there. Pray for me, guys. I'm out.